Hello, once again. Finally, Stu Hu is allowed to speak freely, thanks to the actions of my good friend Bella Lipanza, and of course our illustrious GM Darling, who I thank from the bottom of my heart for ensuring that no one else is going to be fucking me over with any of this 3 nonsense for the next week or so at least. But hey, it's not a massive problem. So, Legacy. Hey, finally Stu Hu gets the chance to take the cult of personality back to the signature show and show everyone the go home of SCW why we have a legacy and why our legacy is so strong and so awesome these days. Well, it's quite simple really. Obviously SCW was founded way back when EWW turned into SCW. Now, one person happened to be the global champion at the time, which was a certain Mr. Oh yeah, me, 150% Stu Hu. Now, obviously, what happened is that very soon after that, things got complicated. People came in. The new Sin City vibe, if you like, really attracted a lot of the more alternative wrestlers. So some of the traditional stuff kind of went out the window. Some people complained about this, but then we kind of formed our own niche, and we kind of catered to what we were getting. So a lot more extreme hardcore and craziness went on. I mean, things like me riding alpacas out the back of the Amazon, and you know, various other crazy stuff like that. It was good times. It was the start of something new, something that no other product was offering at the time. It was basically a way for us to sort of distinguish ourselves. We had the Luxor, we had the casino vibe, we had the whole Las Vegas thing going for us, the City of Sin, a great little playground to play in, and the legacy started being built from there on. All of the sort of chance and fortune based sort of pay-per-view names. Our events were all about the kind of randomness. People knew that the whole spirit of a casino, the idea that you could go in and you could beat the house, or the house could beat you, and sometimes no one won, and sometimes everybody won, and sometimes it was a massive payout, sometimes it was pretty small. It was the whole kind of luck and chance thing, and it drove us and it built us up, and everything from there kind of just grew. Sure, we had our low points, Agent Decipher Light and all that bollocks and all the rest of it, but at the same time, we've had really big highs. I mean, EFK Fed of the Year, once, twice, 3 times running nominated and actually won it as well. This is all stuff, this is all history, this is all part and parcel of being part of SCW. This is why legacy is such a big deal. Stu Hu is SCW, SCW is Stu Hu. The two go pretty much hand in hand. Before I had Black Dawn Wrestling, I was a fairly big up-and-comer there. I managed to break the glass ceiling and make it in BDW, but Black Dawn. But then I came to SCW, to EWW, and it was very much a case of we had to sort of take what we got and build up, and I had to really sort of fight my corner with none of my friends and no one helping me, and things like long running feuds with Kurt X, the great Christian beating, Bible beating son of a bitch, and things like that were really working. And then obviously met people like Dorling and Doug and Ryan Ruckus, and it built up from there. And Wolf, of course, the Outcast legend, one, not the new Wolf, and that's part of the legacy. So SCW, the genesis of SCW, rolled around with the with Ryan Ruckus as the global champion, and Wolf and me fighting each other to finally get the rights taken out, and then I beat him, and then we became SCW, and Cancun Clash and various other things happened, and SCW just grew from there, and very much it was Stu Hu was instrumental in the way SCW works. It was very cool to be part of that foundation. And so, these days, when people talk about the legacy of SCW, and they talk about the wrestlers that are involved with SCW, sometimes they do mention me. I mean, yes, I am a Hall of Famer, which is great. A Hall of Famer who still wrestles the company. That is almost an avant, but it does kind of smack of some sort of mild, small-fed desperation in that we have a Hall of Fame, which some people are now active. But it's more that I kind of finished and took time out, as you know, took like a very large sabbatical, and it was that point where I got inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I don't view myself as this kind of returning or person who needs that title underneath him to keep him going. But actually, I'm someone who built that legacy and has that legacy. That people can go to the museum, can go to the Hall of Fame, the SCW Hall of Fame, in the back room of the Luxor, see the titles, see the posters, see the pay-per-view frames and everything, and actually see Stu Hu there in the Hall of Fame with all his accolades intact in a way that's never going to change. It's great that I have that foundation, that concrete framework to build everything else up on. And sure, I haven't been as successful this time round. I've had numerous #1 contender shots, which I've not really had a chance to pull out of fruition, but I have faced the best and brightest that SCW has to offer, and most of the time I have won. Or if I haven't won, I've fought them well, and I've kind of showed the world that Stu still has what Stu is. So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The legacy is a good legacy. The Cult of Personality would not be without Stu Hu and Bella Panzer, and of course anyone else who helped out over the years. And because of the Cult of Personality, the legacy of the fans has built up, and people have come to SCW for entertainment, for enjoyment, to see the difference. They flock, they buy our merchandise, they buy our t-shirts. The whole reason Sinistry t-shirts have sold as well as they have is not because Dougie Fresh, Sabra and Marco Flins have been dominant. That probably has something to do with it. It's kind of the anti-hero kind of thing going on. They're the bad guys. People buy their merchandise because they want to look hard, and people will go, ooh, Sinistry t-shirt, and then go, actually that just makes you a tool. But the reason is that they wouldn't buy the merchandise if we hadn't laid the pathway for them to do so, the culture to want to come to our shows wearing our shirts and actually looking part of SCW themselves. The whole Skewniverse thing that I invented was not just born of some whimsy that I had for just buzzwords and catchphrases and things to say on a microphone. No, it's all part of this. Not Velociraptor, though that might possibly mean something at some point. No. The heart. The heart and soul of SCW is the fans and the legacy of the wrestlers that have built so many moments for the fans over the years. And at this legacy, we are going to hopefully see yet another set of memories and moments for the fans to take home and live with for hopefully eternity. I mean, that's the hope of all of us here. And obviously, we have this brand new idea for the United Championship. Now, we needed a #1 contender. We weren't entirely sure who to do, but rather than just take everybody and throw them into a big over-the-top rope battle royale and call it the King of Sin or something crazy like that, no, what he's actually done is he's come up with a very stable idea. A series of matches designed to try and find out who was going to contend for the United Championship. It's almost like a mini tournament in a way, hosted almost entirely on Legacy itself, which is going to be good. And then obviously it follows on for the next few wildcards and maybe the next pay-per-view. It's a new thing. And hopefully we'll see this kind of thing happening because it's giving some great opportunities out to the likes of James Stahl, who arguably could contend for the United title as is and doesn't need this kind of push. So it's good to see that he's getting the recognition and is getting in the opportunity to prove to all of the old farts like Extreme and myself that, you know, he has the rights to hang. And obviously Jason Scorpio's been around a bit as well. He's pretty much, I'm surprised, not already got the United Championship on a one-on-one sort of basis for this event. But it's good to see him here, and I do wish him well. It should be really good. 2 old guys, 2 new guys. Bam! Should be a really epic clash. And X is starting to grow. New X, it's back to the old X, but not like the old X. It's really weird. If you've been around and you've seen the legacy of Extreme, then you will know that this particular version of X is very much like the old version of Stu Hu, in that it's very much a kind of pranky, crazy. You look at him to see what it's a case of, like, we're doing things normally that you expect, and then suddenly we'll cut to X just to see what crazy shit he's come up with now. It's very much a thing that he does and has done very well in the past. Again, part of his legacy, part of my legacy as well. I expect him to act like this. So it'd be very much a case of getting to know the old X again and hopefully hanging out and having a really good match with him. I mean, I can't guarantee how long it'll take. I can't guarantee how long we're going to be in the ring, and I can't guarantee anything that's going to happen on the day because it's going to be chaotic. 4 men, definitely 4 men in a ring. Number 4 there, not anything else, not anything less than 4. 4 men in a ring, doing what they can to beat the other guy. Then they have to take on the winners of not just the next match, or the other match, because we are apparently the second match of the 2, so we have to take on the winner of ours, has to take on the winner of the first one, which is another 4 people smashing the shit out of each other, and hopefully they will be a nice worthy contender for that. But the winners, or sorry, the losers have their own match, which the winners then face the winner of. So there is some potential, and I have spoken about this before, to play the numbers a bit like the Chinese badminton team in the Olympics. What we could do is we could try and fix this. If we feel like the match is not going our way, we could try and fix it so that we promote somebody else to win who may be weaker. So, for example, I'm picking on James Starr here, just throwing names out there. If, for example, we got to the point where we realised that he's actually not really hanging with us, we could potentially screw with everybody else to try and make James win. I mean, I could not kick out, or which would be a bit, dumbass to the fans, but we could, maybe help the interference that's going to prevent the pin, so that he gets the pin, so that I then try and work harder for the Battle Royale to beat him, so I then have a slightly easier match than I. Now, clearly, this tactical way of doing things doesn't really sit with the whole 150% Stu Hoof mentality. But I will admit that in the run-up to this, I've not exactly been at my absolute best. I've been trying hard doing it, but I've been distracted with this whole conspiracy, which hopefully is now under bridge over troubled water. No, water under the bridge, out of the way, because Bella and Darling are dealing with it, and no one is going to try and challenge them. And so hopefully I am now free to just concentrate on matches and win that United title, because that is the ultimate goal here, winning the United title, getting Stu Hoo back up to the top where he belongs, so that the cult of personality can feel good about themselves yet again and bask in the glory and the legacy of Stu Hoo. Okay, well, boys and girls, we shall see at Legacy just how much of this rings true. I promise I will do my best to be kind and helpful, and to keep the SCW lore 150%, baby.